And we're joined by Will Self. Welcome back to the programme, Will.
Thank you.
This terrible grooming case in Rochdale, which is in the headlines this week, is this politicians in a way at their worst? They're trying, obviously and rightly, not to stigmatise a whole community or ethnic group. On the other hand, they're being seen by many people as glossing over a problem.
Yes, it's my one-word answer to that. I think it is a problem for the political class who run scared to some extent of the British Muslim community. We've had the kind of Galloway election, which was kind of powered in a sense by discontent in that community with the way that established parties were approaching them and treating with them in that way. And I think that there's a combination, there's a kind of will to deny the fact that there is still prejudice in our society, and a will to deny the fact that there are some communities that are riven by forms of prejudice. And there's also a desire to just simply try and gloss this stuff over and not necessarily speak the truth.
Have we become too sensitive now because we're so determined not to offend people and to not to revert back to the way this country was and some of the things that were said in the 50s and the 60s and so on? But have we now become too sensitive in discussions of race and religion and culture?
Well, yeah, I don't really think it's a problem to say that some British Muslim men have a problem with misogyny and with attitudes, frankly, unacceptable attitudes towards women. And I don't think it's a problem to say that of men of different ethnicity in this country as well. There may be a particular problem in this community. I think that possibility has to be considered. I don't think anybody's unaware of the fact that there are some people within the British Muslim community who take views towards women that some of the rest of us in the wider society regard as unacceptable.
Well, hold on a minute. I think there's, I don't agree with that at all, because what you've just done is say that it's a part of British Muslim culture. I would totally reject that.
No, I didn't say that.
We said part of the Muslim community.
Repeat what you said, Will.
I said exactly what I said, Louise, was I don't think it's contentious to say that there are some men within the British Muslim community who have a misogynistic attitude.
Well, but I think, again,
that's
saying
that's
within
not a
Isn't that true?
contentious
No,
remark
it's saying
at all.
it is contentious.
I wouldn't say so.
It's saying it's within the British Muslim community, and to my mind, what these particular
But there's
guys
some
did,
British
let me
Jews
finish.
that have Jewish men who have a difficult attitude towards
Let me
women.
finish. I think what you have to say is this is a particularly warped, in their minds, extremist version of Islam that no mainstream Muslim would recognise for a second. Now, was it a racially aggravated hate crime? The judge in the case says that it was. But what we have to say is these people don't represent British Muslims. They're not part of the mainstream British Muslim.
They are. That's why people
you're
are
saying
not
it's
trying
part
to
of the Muslim community and it's a problem for the community. I'm saying it is a problem for a tiny, extremist, warped variant of Islam, and that's it. That's all.
You don't understand the way that declarities in people's thinking works. Let's go back to the Galloway election. He won a major kind of landslide in that constituency, and he won it in a sense on a single issue, which was a protest vote against British foreign policy in Afghanistan and in the Middle East. Okay.
Yep.
Now that declivity works its way into the British community and animates people to vote for somebody who, in my opinion, is not actually fit to take a seat in the House of Commons. So you have to ask yourself at that point, what's going on in this community? What is this level of dissatisfaction? Okay, and what is this level of kind of alienation, and what form does this alienation take?
Well, Alan, we had two very different points of view from Anne Cryer, your former colleague, MP for up there at one stage, and Keith Vaz today. If we had seen a case today in which the perpetrators who were sent to jail were 9 white men, 9 skinheads, nasty types, and all the women that they had groomed and abused were black or brown, would we not say that race and culture had something to do with it?
Yes, I'm on the Anne Cryer side of this argument, and actually I agree with Will. But I think, what us politicians want to do, we were criticised as not recognising this issue. Actually, Will said a lot of things that most politicians would say. We are desperately worried, as elected representatives, that we give some kind of credence to the far right and all those people out there who are looking to attack minority communities. So that, in a sense, gives us our caution. But look, on this issue, Ann Cryer has been saying for a long time there is an issue amongst Pakistani men, some of them who came here as adults from rural communities. The judge in the case said very clearly that there was an issue here about that this wouldn't have happened if it was someone of their own race or
Yes,
own religion.
they regarded these white girls as less than worthy.
And therefore the community and the local MP in Rochdale is saying this very clearly, said it on The World at 1 this week, that can't be glossed over. And it has to be tackled.
I just reject again that it's a problem with Pakistani men. It's a problem with extremism. Do I think these guys were racist against white women? Absolutely. There's no question about it. None of their victims were Asian. They particularly preyed on girls. They had a racist mentality. This was a hate crime in addition to rape. But saying it's part of the Pakistani community does inherently stigmatise an entire community for a tiny minority
All right,
of
Will, I'm
vicious
going to give you the
abusers.
final word, and we've only got a few seconds.
I don't think that pointing out that there is a matrix of cultural ideas within a community that may, in particular instances, be potentiated into this kind of behaviour is to stigmatise the community, because it's true of a lot of communities in this country.
Very interesting. We're going to have to leave it there. That's your lot for tonight, folks.